Good morning, beautiful family of the light. It's HoniB. Today is Friday, and it's right before the magnificent new moon in Capricorn, and it's my anniversary. It's an anniversary that I'm so excited to share with you, as many of you have asked me to do. Share what happened 4 years ago at 7:21 p.m. when I officially died and I went into the spirit world. So today I celebrate this incredible anniversary because so much was revealed to me when I was on spirit side, and then I was sent back, and so much happened after that, and still happening, and it's going to continue to happen. So I want to just take a moment first to just extend my appreciation and gratitude for the individuals who've been in my life, who have witnessed this transformation in my life, the illness and the crossing and then being sent back and everything else that was part of it. First and most is gratefulness to my two children, Kian and Nevon, because they're the deep anchors of my heart in this earth plane. And then also my mother. She's such a sacred being, full of support, though not quite understanding all that has taken place, but always there for me. My beautiful brother, my sacred brother Reza, who is just by my side and really appreciates and honors the journey and what I bring forward. It's really incredible. And also my former spouse, Carr, who I've shared 23 years life with, who is truly my best friend, an incredible being, and a real earth angel who I could not have had a better partner to have partnered up with. But things also changed after this death experience, which we have taken our time to go through the transitions and go through our separation and to divorce, but in the most loving, respectful, supportive way where our friendship is the most important thing, and our bond and co-parenting, consciously departing from each other, and uncoupling is a better word, but choosing to be even closer, raising our children and still being in our family. So 4 years ago today, when I left my body, it was an illness that had taken over my body and had affected my thyroid. And of course, it would be the thyroid because so much of my life in this incarnation, I've had a lot of issues with right here, not being able to speak my truth, coming from the Middle East, and certain things were just not allowed, not accepted, not supported. And so constantly from day one I entered this earth plane has been shoved, not being able to speak. So, and of course I couldn't speak, so my heart was just dying, and there have been many times I've been wanting to leave the earth plane, many times. I was craving a love that I knew was so real, but I couldn't feel it on this earth plane. The closest thing to it was my children, but even that wasn't the truth that I knew from a very young age, very young age. I was touched by it first in the midst of a fatal car crash when I was 7, and I just couldn't come to it anymore. I wanted to leave so I can be back there again. Anyway, 7:21 p.m. 4 years ago. The details I don't want to get into because I want to just share really what happened, because it's the most incredible experience of my life. I transitioned out of my body when I left my body, as I ascended upwards, I looked back down on my body, and there was my body. And the first response was like, wow, like, woohoo, like, how incredible to be out of the body. It's so blissful, so joyful, and so light, and no, just, yeah, no sadness or anything. At least for me, it was like this. So as I ascended upward, the first angel that greeted me was Archangel Haniel. And it was remarkable meeting Archangel Haniel with her energy field. And she brought this, what best as I would call it, is a vapor, like it would, in earth plane we would call it like a vapor. She wrapped 3 circles of vapor around me, and that was the first of receiving me. And from there, then she held my hand, and I was in the soul body. And then she took me, and there was a corridor in which some souls would go to one side, and the other souls would go to another side. So she took me to another one. But when she took me there, and then we traveled through what my normal experiences are, through these portals. I went through traveling through space, and just fast moving, and it was exhilarating, till I got to a place where is what we will consider the nebula. It was inside of that, this incredible starlight system, and the colors, and it's just incredible, just incredible. And from there, then we went further. Then she stayed back as I moved forward, but I was no longer in even the soul body. I was just light. And from that light, I entered a space where it was a temple. And this is best I could call it a temple, but not really, wasn't a temple either. The setup of it was very geometric shape. And as I entered, there were 12 beings there waiting for me. And these beings were 6 on each side, and I'd entered the Federation Council, is what they welcomed me in. And 6 on each side, there were darker blue beings, very tall, about, I would say, 18 to 20 feet tall. They introduced themselves as the Golden Council of 12, and they'd been waiting for my arrival. And the hue behind them was pure white, and they were translucent. And this space that I entered was just like, like the excitement, or it was beyond I could ever put it here. And it was like, I'm home, the feeling like I'm home, finally, I'm with you all, this is incredible. And so one of them, and towards the middle, there was a little bit of a gap where nobody was there. The one of them that was closer to that gap in the middle, he with his translucent sort of hand, but not really hand, but hand, he opened this vortex, and it opened up, and in that there were many scenes, images of the records of my lifetime for many incarnations that were shown. Many incarnations, including my life in Greece at the Oracle of Delphi, my life when at the time of Jesus, Yeshua, when he was on earth, my life in as Native American here on the land, as the Hopi Native American, and of course my life in Europe and many other places. So many lives were shown to me, and including my soul and the agreements that were being made with my parents, that became my earth parents, when my soul was choosing to incarnate into this vessel, this female body, and come through Middle East. And why my brother had to become my brother, and my father become my father, and my mother become my mother, and the role each of them had to take on for this. And so what I was seeing, what they were showing me, was the agreements, like what those agreements were. And there were some very incredible agreements that were made, and I'd agreed to come into this incarnation and take on very difficult incarnation, but many, many, many lessons, everything into one incarnation. So it will be my last human incarnation, and that meant to go through quite a bit of what we would consider trauma, so I can also resurrect from the trauma, go through the absolute darkness, the absolute depth of pain, hate, and anger, to come back to my own light and transform all that energy within me, and also assist the collective energy. So with that, many other things were shown along the way. Again, all the other agreements with many of the other soul family part of mine. And from there, they showed me, when I come to Earth, what I'll be working with, what I've been training for all along. So my incarnation was filled with, of course, training ground, as it is with everybody else, and then what is going to be, what it is that I'm really here to deliver. And that was very interesting, seeing that, because up until that point, I had had a sort of a different life. And so from that point forward, my life became very different when I was sent back to my body. Anyway, so this space, while they're showing me all of these, it's exhilarating, because as they're showing me also my life during all these other lives, it's incredible to have then the memory of who I was in which lifetimes, and not a surprise with some of the things where I came in this earth plane, some of my healing abilities, not a surprise at all, but finally it made sense. Then from there, after that was done, my entire DNA system was shifted. They brought my DNA into the center, and they showed me how they will rechange it to the 8th strand of DNA. And then they told me over the next 4 years, the rest of my DNA will be updated as I go through it. They could only upgrade it up to that. And so with that, what was required for me to be able to be upgraded in the DNA structure. So for the next level of work that I needed to do on Earth plane, I needed to have this updated so I can deliver the work. And then the rest would be updated as well, so I can fully become a crystalline structure being in the diamond body, the diamond template. And after that was done, that was very interesting to be able to see the sort of like the coding around that, like the keys and the coding in my system. And from there, after that, as I was waiting, my consciousness was waiting. Remember, I'm not in a form. I'm in a, not even a soul anymore. I'm inside. I'm just light, and the consciousness is there. From there, then I saw this light, blinding light appear, and I could feel the depth of its presence, the joy, like the nourishment, the food, the craving I had on Earth plane. And meanwhile, let me just tell you, once I was there, there was not even a second of missing Earth, missing work, missing friends, missing family, missing none. I was exhilarated being back with like my family, the family that I kept looking for. So when the light appeared, light got closer and closer and closer and closer. And I remember being just my entire beingness was, there are no words, there are never any words for this moment. And it appeared, got closer, it was Yeshua, what you consider Jesus. But he didn't announce himself as Jesus, my dear ones. Yeshua. His incredible presence. And he looked at me, and when the voice spoke, suddenly I knew this voice since I was a kid. Those few times that came and said the words, and I would be rattled. So here's the voice, and he said to me, "You cannot be with us, my child. You must return back to earth, and you must teach. Bring this to earth and teach it. It's your last human incarnation, my dear. You will soon be back with us." And just like that, not even a second being able to respond, I was sent back through the tunnels again, the star systems, and I was sent, like, it was so fast. And I all I remember did like, I want to say almost horror or the disappointment, how that I had to come back to earth. And just like that, I was sent back, and I could remember traveling through this space fast. It was so fast, everything was so fast moving till I dropped into my body. And then I was back in my body, and that's a whole nother experience where I tell you what exactly took place there. Within 3 days, I went back to the doctor, my holistic doctor, and I knew when after that something had completely changed. My whole looking at the world changed. I went back to the doctor, and we had done the blood work, and he looked at everything. He's like, "Honey, this doesn't make sense." I said, "I know." He's like, "What happened?" I said, "I had an experience." I couldn't even tell him because I was so blissful. And he said, "Honey, nothing makes sense." He's like, "You were lethal, you were dying. All of your organs had shut down. Failure in every part of your kidneys, your something with the blood, like all of these were had shut down because I stopped eating. I just wanted to leave." And I hid that from everybody. Nobody knew because I didn't want anybody to keep me here. And not because I just want you guys to know, not because there was something wrong, really. It's because I wanted to be back with the purest love, and I couldn't find it here. I couldn't find the violence, I didn't want to be here anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. So being sent back and getting a whiff, they gave me a whiff of what I'm returning back into. And they gave me enough fuel to carry it forward. And right after that, a lot happened. Right after that is when I began the communication with Arcturians coming in through languages of light, through first language codes. Codes were coming in, then they became language. And then there was a lot of communication through that. I had already been in communications with angels and archangels and some of the masters, but then the whole team began to show up. It was a large team. Then the galactic family began communication. I started seeing things in geometric patterns inside people's body. I started being able to see into people's bodies, into their field and many different parts of their bodies, and particularly their geometric shapes and their codes. I started being able to speak very gently and chant in the language of light, which I couldn't understand what was happening. Then from there, a lot more happened. And basically, the most important part was the planetary work, which the Arcturians came in and gave me an assignment. The assignment was to fulfill the activations of the cities of light, working with specifically they were assigned me to the third grid system. And you must understand, I have no understanding of what any of this is. And they said they want me to get on the road to go to certain places. There were several locations, and I had to, and not quite an instruction either, but when I would get there, then they would help work through me. My vessel would become in the activation to be able to do certain things on the line, activate them, and then it opens up to the higher dimensional frequencies to come onto the planet, working with this particular grid, so that we can help hold the vibration for the new cities of light coming up. So that builds the new communities, that creates the new way of being, which many of us already live in that, in these upper dimensions, but being able to bring it here. And so my journey began on a little bit more than 2.5 years ago, getting on the road, which also was revealed by my earth agreement with my former spouse, Carl, had come to its end. So we had to close that to start, and that was a whole interesting chapter for Carl and I to go through this departing from each other, but very gently. And before that, I was also shown that there would be somebody that I will be fulfilling the rest of the work with, to bring in the Christ light energy and the Magdalena energy together, and a lot. I mean, just so much was shown to me. So I began my journey on the road, and activation many different places. Nothing made sense, and my heart goes out to my family, because it was a very rough period, and also my friends, and certain memories I just didn't have before the death experience. There were people I would see, but I couldn't really remember them, and so much had changed. I had changed so much. I started having these different abilities, and very quickly I had this deep connection with the tribal energy, but something with the Native American, but specifically Hopis, which I couldn't understand why at all. Where was that even coming from? But very deep connection till I learned, in 1633, I had a grandfather named Chief Littlebird, who was a Hopi Apache, and from that side, and that I was a grandchild, and so from there he began communicating with me with another chief named Tall Chief Feather. So I began. I handmade my drum with my teacher, who was from a Cherokee Wolf Clan tradition, and from there all these things began happening. I couldn't explain what was happening to anybody other than I had all these other abilities. I could do things that I'd never been trained for here on Earth plane, and suddenly floodgates were open in the abilities, and very unusual abilities. So, and so much more. And so this is now the next stage of my life, as I just came back from Brazil, and I'm being resent back there. And so there's a very large team that I work with. There's just a very large team. I feel very blessed. I feel very thankful. I feel so grateful to be completely surrendered, to just serve, be of service. From a young age, since I was 5, I would tell my parents, but I came here to help humanity. I would write things. I would always draw things, the ruins, ancient ruins. And for me, it was always, I need to help humanity. And I was a very different child, just with a lot with spirits and angels and stuff like that. And my parents just didn't know what to do with me. And also a lot of extraterrestrials, especially a lot of the ships, and just they did not know what to do. And so lived a life of quite a bit of loneliness, because just couldn't relate. People couldn't really, so I had to hide it for a long time before I could also bring it out. And thanks to my children, they helped open that door, especially my younger one, who is extremely open. He forced me to open that door, because I'd shut it so tight, because I was never accepted, ever, until way later. And so it came to a place for me to accept myself and accept this divine mission, accept the gifts that have been bestowed upon me, accept that I am here to assist with the ascension. I am here bringing forth advanced abilities that's been shown to me and also revealed to me and activated, and also be able to, the whole thing is to assist the humanity's heart so they can come back to their home, that inner home, because they already have the information in there. That's it. And that way they can deeply connect with Mother Earth. And I hold the vibration of Divine Mother. So my name is HoniB, Om, universal sound. And Om means mother. And I am a mother. And the Galactic Federation of Light has granted me the gift of working with the 7th dimensional frequency on the planet, which, because they explain, is because a mother can hold this vibration and bring it here on Earth. And it is the goddess energy, the embodiment of the goddess, the divine, sacred divine feminine that's been fully integrated together with the sacred divine masculine. And that's the message part, so I can deliver the work, the action work. And I am honored. I'm honored to celebrate this day. I'm honored to be of the highest service for divine and the sentient beings upon Earth. I'm honored that this is my last human incarnation. It's no words for this. I'm honored to be aware and very clear and being the embodiment of my diamond energy field, my diamond transformation, which last year took place. It took 365 days to every day, every single day, the discipline of transforming my template into the diamond as they had asked. So I completed it December 1st before I was sent back to Brazil. And in Brazil, working with the 1212 gateway and 1221 gateway was very significant, particularly the 1221 took quite the toll on my body. I'm working with the start gate, releasing the new codes on the planet. And from there, then the next chapter was shown to me, which is to build Temple of Divine, a temple in which the energy field holds the transformational energy. And this is a temple that will be built in many different locations, in these new communities. And these new communities are connected to these cities of light that I have taken part in activating amongst other ones that are working on the 1st and 2nd grid system. These are connected to the Christus light, the Christ light within, completely the inner sun. So I work extremely closely with Yeshua, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene, and the entire team, the Great White Brotherhood. And just so deeply thankful to be granted this, to be able to work with it. So when I share information, it's the vessel in which they're communicating through. And this next phase, they're also having me open up the space for Lord Maitreya to come through and share the insights. And in this, it takes a lot of courage to let go even more. Let go to be the greatest instrument of this divine expression. Being able to be free to speak the languages of light and the coding and transmission and the activations. Being able to be very free to be versus the acceptance of this, to be able to then deliver the work. And I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for all my beautiful, beautiful soul family that have been by my side, that have believed, that have supported, that have been there, that can have such a pure heart to be able to experience, because those who are in the heart can see, but those who are in their head cannot. The intellectual mind can never access divine, ever. It is the pathway of the heart that gives access to that almighty presence. So here I honor and respect all religions. However, when you've had a direct experience, you know there's no religion. It's the spiritual truth. And we are spirits in human body, being able to bring forth our complete divine nature. So no outside path will give you the access, and it's completely within. It takes discipline, and it takes so much love, so much of inner love, transmuting the density that's been trapped here from incarnations and incarnations, and also the trauma and drama trapped in here, in the emotional body. And me also coming in at a very young age, at the age of 1, my light being taken out by sexual abuse, very young age, by someone very close to me in my family. So transmuting that energy back into light and being in a place of being able to completely love this being that is now on spirit side and have a great relationship. It's quite incredible. It's an incredible journey from darkness into light. We came from light. We return back to light. And it's always been the light of divine, nothing less. So I celebrate this day with you. For the first time, I'm publicly sharing it in a very more detailed way on my 4-year anniversary, because I turned 44 in May, and I've been asked to sort of go on sabbatical right now to grow this space as I go to Brazil, to the complete unknown, and this, how am I even going to build a temple? What does that even mean? But they've shown me quite a bit. It's the temple of the resurrection flame, but it's really the temple of the sacred flame. So I'm ecstatic, I'm excited, I'm so honored, and I'm so thankful. And I appreciate everyone's journey and the perfection from where they are. Let me just show you also this morning, my altar. I set a new altar today for this new moon and my honoring my anniversary, appreciating that I'm here on earth, completing the work and having the courage to fulfill the higher calling. I'm working with a team of incredible beings who love us so much and who are here to support us so that we can completely fulfill all of our mission and be able to ascend together in the ascension process into our higher octaves, into our higher bodies, and truly together be our sacred Pachamama, Mother Earth, embracing the divine feminine energy on the planet that is of nurturing, that is loving, that is kind, that is compassionate, the qualities of the feminine, to bring the balance back to the masculine. So much love, so much appreciation. I love you all so very much. Thank you. Aho, namaste, en lakesh, banura esh, hash hash, amen, ashe.